Hello, my name is Mitch Kutra, and this is my demographic report on Wichita North High School. Wichita North High School is in the pretty central part of Wichita, Kansas. It's in the middle of some older neighborhoods. This section of the map is a majority of the area that it feeds into the school. This section right here that is selected is where North High is actually at on the map of Wichita. It's in an older neighborhood where the original families have, they either have died or moved out to the northeast, eastern, western, northwestern part of town, or out in the smaller surrounding communities. But movement out has caused a replacement with a whole different culture of people as the older, more Caucasian families move out. We're getting more Hispanic and African American movement into the school's boundaries. There's a section over here on the other side of the highway where it's a big cross section where some of the students from the same neighborhood go to north, to east, to southeast, to heights, and they're all right there together. School boundaries have been a topic of discussion because we also share a blurred boundary with Northwest in the northwest part of our boundary, where kids would rather go to Northwest because it's a lot closer and it's not as diverse. School demographics is I got this out of a in-service from last year, and actually last year and then early this year, is we're roughly 70% Hispanic, 15% Caucasian or white, 12% African American, and 3% other, which include Vietnamese, Middle Eastern students. School organizations and climate. So the school organization, we have one main principal with 5 academies that have principals, counselors, and secretaries all in those academies. There's really no specialization with the academy, so if a kid is in Academy 2, it's not a specialization like they're in the arts or the sports. They're all generalization. They typically keep families in the same academy, so you're dealing with the same principal and counselor. School organization and climate, we have a very diverse staff. In several of the readings I've seen that it said that a lot of the teachers are white middle class, but I don't see that at North as much. We have a good diverse group of staff members. At North, we try to promote a culture of inclusion. So we actually have groups for every different demographic: HALO, Hispanic American Leadership, JAG, GSA, Campus Life. We have a brand new one for young African American entrepreneurs. So there are groups that celebrate every single culture. I'd say every single, but I'm sure we're missing some, but there's a lot of options. The thing about North is everybody seems to have their place and feel comfortable. With all the teacher training and the teacher emphasis is a culturally responsive culture. So we have our classrooms and to be culturally responsive, dealing with our lessons culturally responsive, understanding what that means is big for us. Student background, again, we have 70% Hispanic, 15% Caucasian, white, 12% African American, 39% ESL. which I saw the 39%, and I was shocked on how low it was because of our student levels. But Spanish, Vietnamese, Chinese, African dialects, we have a growing amount of refugees that come into our school, and they're all put into multiple tiers of the ESL levels. So for someone who doesn't speak any English, but they're coming straight from a Spanish-speaking environment, they are evaluated on their needs, and there's multiple tiers. So if someone cannot succeed right away in regular classes, they have the specialized classes. We have multiple tiers of ESL to accommodate their needs. Another huge thing about our student background is the first-generation graduates. And I think this is one of the most proud things for our principal, is the amount of first-generation graduates that he gets to announce at high school graduation. I believe, off the top of my head, that last year there was, I think it was 20% of the graduates were first-generation graduates. First generation, first person in their family to ever graduate high school. And that's a big thing, that you have that many kids that are going to school and graduating school, and that they don't come from the culture where school was the norm. Socioeconomic status, we have a 77% free and reduced lunch. And they're in every single classroom. We have a wide range of selection in the same classroom, from the student that gets free and reduced lunch that I don't know if they're going to get food for the weekend on Friday, to someone who has all the brand new stuff. Their parents are lawyers or doctors, and they're all in the same classroom, and they all cohabitate together, and it's doesn't seem to be an issue. I mean, you don't have anybody that visibly looks at another person and looks down on them because they're free and reduced lunch. But they're the majority. The free and reduced lunch are the majority. 47% female, 53% male. We have, with a student base of 2,300, there's a lot of different aspects when it comes to that. I know in one of my classes, even though it's 40% female, 53% male for the school, I have 25 males and 5 females. So even though we have a pretty close number there, it just depends on the class to the actual demographic breakdown. At North, you're looking at students on the average of between 14 and 19 years old. It's a high school, so it's 14 through 19. One thing I learned this last year when I was the first year teacher is if you are special ed and have in your individual educational plan, you can be in school until you're 21 and still graduate. And that was new to me, but we actually do have several students that take advantage of that. And it takes them until they're maybe 20 or 21 to finish, but they still end up finishing. When you look at our reading, math, science, and I think it was language arts. So with the reading, a lot of the percentages on these couple slides and some of the percentage on the slide before, I got off the KSDE website. Reading, we have a wide range of abilities, from people who are reading well above their grade level to students that cannot read at an elementary level. So we have, according to the KSDE school report card, 51% performing under grade level. That's why we have a intervention class every other day is called tower time, where depending on your level of abilities in reading and language arts, you're put in different classes to help with those skills. So if you're a lower tier reader, you go into a class where you work on vocabulary, you work on phonics, you work on sentence structure. If you're an upper level reader, then you would go to a higher tier where you're reading every day and you're writing reflections and you're having discussions. So that's one way our school takes those numbers and tries to improve the numbers. In math, we have 66% performing under grade level. That's why that we have tutoring every day at lunch. We have tutoring every day after school and before school. With certain classes, they have math labs that are attached to them, so then they can have the kids every day. So you have, say, basic algebra and then a math lab that's attached to it on the next day. So instead of having, because we're block scheduled, instead of having a kid one day for 80 minutes and then they have a whole day without math, you can have them every day for 80 minutes to try to correct and improve their skills. One thing I have seen is many students have had to retake math classes because they haven't got the information the first time. Part of that is not understanding and not taking advantage of the tutoring. The other part is, well, I don't think I need it. That attitude is one we have to face quite a bit. Science, I looked and we have twice the number of regular classes than honors classes, but we do offer honors classes and AP classes for science. We also have a biomedical program, which is works through, I believe it's working through WATC to start these students in training in the medical field younger, and so then they have the more science and your higher level science students who want a career in science who get a leg up. Social studies, we have regular honors and AP honors offerings. What I've seen is, honors and AP and regular have about the same amount. So our kids who have a difficulty in language arts, math, and science do better in our history classes because you have honors and AP classes that are about the same number as your regular history. So that's one thing I can say about our demographics is maybe we have a better grasp on history and remembering stories and doing that than we do on the other three subjects. Educational options. So we have regular students. AVID, Biomed are two programs that help students. Testing for gifted. Several students have IEPs, so personalized plans. They work with caseworkers as teachers. And IEPs are strictly enforced. There's several times I have my tests and they're taken in their caseworker's room and given extra time. It's very important that we stick to the IEP and make sure the learning accommodations are taken seriously. So, as a reflection, North is a reflection of the neighborhood. Bases stay the same, so as different demographics move in, the school changed, and now we're at the same demographic as our neighborhood. We have a culture of inclusion. Students' hurdles and systems to battle with, so we have a language barrier and several with learning disabilities and IEPs that need to be accommodated for. So my resources are the KSD website, in-service info, and just my personal observations since I've been at the school for a while. That's my demographic report. Thank you very much.